our last two categories here are marketing trends that you may see. Just a word or two. Maybe there's something, a new piece of equipment. Michelle, there's a new piece of equipment that you've been waiting for. Has it come in yet?
Nope,
No.
still waiting, and hopefully the company isn't gonna wait another couple months. So that's kind of our worry right now, is that they may take longer than they first promised.
Mm-hmm. Right. And they're building it.
They're building it, yeah.
Building it for you.
And there's been some problems that we've heard from other people, that they're not as fast for whatever reason. So our money is being put out there for possibly building other machines while ours is still waiting to be built. That's one of our worries about it. In the meantime, we're making payments for machines that we don't have that we can make extra money on.
That's a gamble.
Well.
But you have to gamble. What are we doing here?
Yeah, Ron was very adamant and talked to the president of the company, and the president of the company had told us that we would have it within 8 weeks. Well, 8 weeks is almost up by the end of this month.
It's on the truck.
So we will, yeah.
Yeah.
From
As
Baton
it's bridge
Rouge.
in Arizona, I would say.
No.
too.
Yeah, it's coming from Baton Rouge.
It's on the truck.
Yeah, it's on the truck, all right.
Here's the shipping code. Oh, wait.
Nobody knows what a truck is.
So, yeah, that's kind of, you know.
Well, this is a risk when we deal with advanced equipment or new technology. It's wonderful to be first, to have that piece of equipment. It's going to do so many wonderful things, but it's the bleeding edge, as it's called.
Well,
There's a
actually,
reason it's called the bleeding edge.
it's actually an existing, I mean, they make them. It's just, maybe the company isn't in a good shape as they would like us to believe that they are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So that's something about both your marketing trends. That's something that you're striving to be able to fulfill a marketing trend with this new piece of equipment. Make a couple of notes here now at your asset list. This is the first that we're getting into an asset list, but just mention a few pieces of equipment or a few hardware, because one of the ways that value is determined is what is your asset list. So this is the first time we're getting into this, and then we're going to go into asset lists in the upcoming weeks. But we just want to start with the asset list, just a few pieces, either equipment or your building value, some piece of asset. And then as you come down, you'll submit the form and we'll move on to our next piece. This is a big chunk, this piece, and we'll come back to it. You'll have an opportunity to work on this and develop it. Okay, so wherever you are, submit and we'll move on. And if I can have your attention. Risk with John Anderson. We're going to talk about risk. Now, there's two major kinds of risk. There's the risk that businesses face every day, just the risk of being in business, and then there's the risk when you're preparing to transfer the business ownership. So we're going to talk first about that first piece. And we talked about it a little bit. There's the four major risks: the truck, the lottery, the diagnosis, and exhaustion. And then there's some other fundamental risks that you're all well familiar with. So I'd like to ask a couple of questions here and get a little dialogue going. Have you ever been hospitalized and had to operate your business from a bed? Now, maybe that bed was at home, maybe it was in a hospital. Has anyone had to face operating their business, keeping track of money going in the bank, money coming out of the bank, when you're ill and you're really not comfortable, but you have to do it. Has that occurred for anyone? Wonderful, I'm so glad to hear it. Or have you had an emergency, family emergency or business emergency, and you had to go on a quick trip that you didn't expect, and you're having to operate your business from a motel room, or from a rent-a-car, or from flights, between flights and things like that.
Standard operating procedure.
That's right. Well, these are all things that could occur, and I'm glad they aren't affecting you, and they haven't affected you. Does anyone have a dependable manager and dependable staff that they're able to take breaks from their business, either because of emergencies or because of holidays or time with your family? And yes, you do. So because every one of you, to some extent, does, because you're here in this room, and it's a Thursday morning. So yes, and we're building on that. Is your staff empowered to take responsible action? The key here is the word empowered. Are they able to make responsible decisions and know that you'll stand behind them with the decisions, the day-to-day, moment-to-moment decisions they're having to make? And one of the best ways to be sure that they can make those responsible decisions is if the culture of your business is such that they know what are the right decisions to make. Stephen, you were telling me this morning you made a rate sheet for a new gal that's working with you. Could you share with us a little bit about how that rate sheet, and you've been in business for how long, and today you had a breakthrough?
Yeah, well, we just hired our first secretary after 10 years, so that's a milestone for us. Unfortunately, it took us that long, but I've been doing quotes. I've been the only person doing sales for that 10 years. So typically when I quote a job, it's out of my head, you know. Well, I spent last night to actually finally document all those pricings, you know, that I've been doing for 10 years, and so that the secretary can now actually do quotes without having to call me every 30 minutes and say, hey, I need a quote on this job. So that's going to really be valuable to us going forward. Really valuable.
Congratulations. Well done. Great job. Good work.
Time, effort.
So if your staff and your manager have clear responsibilities and authority, they're able to make those kinds of decisions. And by having, say, a frequently asked questions portfolio, or just clear procedures and directions of exactly what you ask them to do, and the typical things that they're going to encounter. And the more that you can define that, then the less that they're going to come to you with individual questions that aren't in that list where they need direction. Now, another obvious risk is cash flow shortage that leads to bankruptcy and collapse. By having a strategic plan with a budget, you're able to anticipate cash flow crunches in the future and minimize their effects. There can be operations and systems issues that lead to company culture dysfunction. If there's, you know, I've heard of companies that the employees have fist fights in the parking lot because there's angry words, there's things that are said, and then there's results, and they're bad. So there's dysfunction that occurs, and it's like family. Your business is like a family, and all of the dynamics that take place in families take place in businesses and organizations. It's organizational psychology. So by having healthy company policies, and by anticipating, and by measuring the health of your business culture, you're able to take steps and to avoid problems before they become serious. Ultimately, you want your staff to be happy, positive, and encouraged, so that when they answer the phone, when they help customers, they're bright and they're positive, and they have the kind of attitude that you want to have, that you expect whenever you go in to do business with someone. Now, we recommend that everyone do an insurance risk analysis. Because in addition to your business liability, and your vehicle coverage, there's other kinds of insurance such as key person and employee dishonesty policy, and Jeff is going to be talking with us about that. Now, we're going to move ahead now, and we're going to have Asana come forward. We're going to do more on the risk of a business sale, because it's taken us a little longer to get through this, because there were a couple of other things that slowed us down getting started this morning. So, Asana, welcome.
Hello guys. So we are going to be talking about computer protection and data protection. We have a real quick survey, of course, a little questionnaire. Go to let me put it up here. J.MP/BCB_tech, and I will make that larger.
Can I use your phone for a second? I'm having major issues on my phone today.
Is
The laptop?
battery not working here?
Yeah, it's working. I gotta call them over.
Oh, okay. Here, I'll get this.
Is it on Bluetooth?
Yes, it is. Hold on, that we saw them just a It's gonna be loud.
Okay, anyone having trouble or anything? So we're going to be doing a real quick, just seeing where you are at now. The main topic that I'm going to be talking about real quick, because I don't have much time, is protecting your data, making sure that if life happens, you don't lose all your contacts of your customers, of your vendors, what your vendors owe you, and what you owe your, the credits that your customers might have. You want to make sure that you have that information backed up. And a lot of people don't have that information backed up or dealt with in a way that they can feel safe about it. So everyone's at the site? Michael?
Rich?
Rich, I'm sorry.
All right.
Rich?
I should have my name tag
That's all
on.
good.
I am not, but that won't be long.
Okay.
I have a little problem
And so,
with
yeah, I understand. The major thing is going to be talking about, now, I don't have any slides or anything, but we're just going to be talking about online compared to local, and the benefits and cost. There's not much I'm going to talk about, I don't have time, so. Okay, great. There. So, right here, go ahead and there. Go ahead and take this, shouldn't take very long.
turn off your Bluetooth and you turn it back on. You turn that
Yeah, so while you guys are doing this, I'm just, there's the different types like local, where you have a local hard drive system. That is a good thing, but if your building blows up and floods, whatever, gets broken into, that backup is gone. So you need to have a kind of a mix where you have local and online, and you have another little hard drive that you kind of once a week move from your house to the business location. And it depends on how much data you need backed up. Depends on how good of a backup system you need, or how big. Let me know when everyone's done, or if you're done. Good, good. Online is great, but it is very slow and very, it is your last resort type of backup. It's off-site, so that no matter what happens at your site, your local backup, at the very least, you still have your backup at offline or online. And it could take up to like a week or 2 weeks to get all that data back, depending on how much data you have. So that's why it's a last-ditch thing. Yeah. Everyone good? Good. All right. So with this information, I'm going to be able to move on to some other things next time because I have 3 minutes left. The other thing real quick is that you want to start to, does anyone here have a backup system already set up? Great. Local or online or a mix?
Mix.
Mix?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a mix.
Okay, good, good.
That's Ron's involved in that, and I'm not.
Yeah, and how often is the backup? Is it
Once a week.
once a week? Okay. Do you have a backup system?
Yeah, it's online.
Okay, good. And again, like I said, it's great to have the online, but when your whole computer dies and you need that huge file or the whole data restored to your computer, it's days, you know, so you want to have that that online or the local also. Anything?
It's convoluted.
Yeah,
No, it's actually per machine. There are onlines, and then there are USB drives. They're on certain machines, and then everything is going to either the Google Drive or the Windows Drive or our own drive, and it gets redundant depending on whether he's doing an update, or I'm doing an update, or John's doing an update.
Okay. Dropbox, Google Drive, and those types of things are great, but they back up the.
No, we have total backups on certain types of products.
Okay, good.
See, our product is such that what your key value is in your web pages.
Mm-hmm.
The data value is not that big of a deal. It's done in the clouds to begin with.
Mhm.
So
Right, for yeah.
yeah, when you're gonna download from QuickBooks and you've got multiple accesses to QuickBooks and multiple QuickBooks, and all of that goes away pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
You're back in about an hour.
Yeah. All right. So to finish up this last quick thing, go down to the bottom. I think it is. No, when you hit submit, there should be a link that says to move on.
I'm there.
Good. Where is it?
I'm there.
Good. Okay, great. I need to be there. The code is 409. There it is. Oh, no, I want to go. Alright, real quick, this is something else that I forgot to actually add this to the questionnaire and this page. This is mind map. This is another little type of technique that I can talk about in the future. I wanted to get a kind of feedback and see where you guys are wanting to have me lead you. And if you don't know what a mind map is, just let me know and I can explain it. And just let me know when you are done with these questions. They shouldn't take not long. Yeah, I only have one question. I had a lot more, but with 5 minutes, I had to trimmed down. Real quick on the personal project discussion, there are often times where people are struggling with something and they come and talk to me, oh, I have this problem that I have not been able to deal with, how do I do that? And if we wanted to, if everyone wanted to really pay attention to that and have me talk about that, we would do a whole session where everyone brings up your problem, okay, let's fix that, your problem, and that kind of a thing. All right.
Give some examples of that. One that comes to my mind is people have photos. Everybody takes photographs, and then how do we manage all the photographs? And then when we start getting into videos, doing video clips of holiday events with family, and then we've got this combination of photographs and video, it becomes a lot of work.
Being able to get people on the same schedule where you can deal with your phone and everyone can know where you are and what you're doing, you can see what other people are doing. Being able to work on a document with a shared amount of people but not use Google Drive. Wanting to be able to, just there's too many. It will all depend on you. Alright, so that is it for me. Any questions? Alright, well, thank you, and it is back to anyone else. Actually, it's going to be a break for 5 minutes, or 10 minutes.
Yes. 5-minute break. Yes.
I'm going to turn this off.
Having fun?
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
You can
And
switch
we'll
out.
put on like this and go.
Just plug me in.
Okay, do you have enough battery? Of course.
I'm only gonna be here 15 minutes. Oh, this side will work better.
Wrong one, yes.
Forgot which side it was.
Alright. Cool. Okay, let's move this out of the way here.
Why don't you just set that down and done with it?
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
we'll get
Either way.
It'll get there the other way. And that makes him work. That's what I like.
Well, he's young.
I like to make somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won't be young long at that rate, though.
That's what we're trying to do.
Oh, okay. Gonna age him a little bit.
Well, you see,
Give him some of that good gray hair that you know. But see, I don't show mine
Hey,
off.
you can have all of this you want.
my stepsister was turned gray when she was 16, was turning to turn gray 16 or 17. And by the time she was 18, she had a whole head of gray hair. She was like, no.
You know, you find that first one, 21 years old, and you go, boing, and it's a.
Or I like to say to little kids, you know, they have to be younger and younger these days. I used to do it with 5 and 6-year-olds, and they're just too clever for me. So when they're 3 and 4, I have blonde hair. How do you like my blonde hair? That's not blonde, that's gray. No, it's blonde. It's called blonde.
Surprising how
Just a
the truth
different color
really,
blonde, right? Silver blonde.
for a child that small, the truth is just like, ooh,
Yeah.
right there in their face, you're a liar. That's great.
They look at me and they,
I try to hide it with my blonde, but my dirty blonde hair, but
Yeah.
you know, it shows up.
And you know what? I'm breathing.
That's right. Life is good.
I'll cut it all off before I go to the other rap.
Oh, I don't know. I've been looking forward to turning gray. It's taking forever. My grandmother, both of them, had this silver hair. Not gray, silver. Beautiful silver. I'm just waiting for it to start really coming in so that way I can tell if it's going to turn that dirty, mousy gray or if it's really going to turn silver.
I need to. What do you?
Yeah, my dad his head of hair turned gray, I think in his 30s.
my brother, who's not quite a year younger than I am, when he was 17, he got these gray side,
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
dark hair with that gray on the side. Oh my goodness. I so envied him. It's just like, she's just like, but I'm gray already. I have to graduate from high school.
Drained my battery faster than I was expecting. Why,
Works just fine.
why is it?
Yep.
Never mind.
Grandson's like that. Last time I saw him, he was 3 years old. He used to go, why is your hair like that? Like what? Like that. Well, explain it. He's 3 years old, he's looking at me like, Grandpa, I don't want to do this. I don't really want to do this.
This is what's ahead.
Cindy called Dan's.
Okay, wonderful.
It's a good thing.
Still has more power. It looked like it was almost gone.
I find you learn so much from them, though. Really. When they're that age, you learn so much from them.
What age did you start learning?
Me? I don't know. I'm going to have to go talk to Mom about that.
Still unsure about that.
I'm quite sure that the grandson started around about 2.5.
That's about right. Not sure when maybe 10, 12. Sort of figured it all out.
Oh, already making money. I guess that's when you figure it out, when you figure it gotta make some money. Mom and Dad not gonna give me any more.
Look at that and then just turn it wrong side up to start. You want one?
Sure. Well, I have a copy.
We are at the time to start.
Time to start.
I'm just like.
The games begin. So good after morning, mid-morning, there we go. After break, we're here. Thank you for coming. I think I hopefully met everybody the other day when you were here. But my name's Jeff Mays, I'm an independent insurance broker. This is my office, and really happy to have everybody come here. This is one of the ideas of this space was I'd have room to have small classes, and it's great to have that happen. We've got a few here, so it's good. I wanted to talk to you for just a few minutes because I can go on for hours, and John said I had about 20 minutes, which means I really have 15, and how that works. And he's going to tell me when I'm almost done, right? So I wanted to talk just a little bit about insurance and being a business owner and some of the ups, downs, sideways things that you can do with insurance. The basics of insurance really are insurance is the transfer of risk from one party to another for a price. You know, what I'm doing when I insure my car is I'm asking the company that's insuring it to take the risk of me getting in an accident for a predetermined price. That's called a premium. We do that with all types of things, but when we come to our businesses, there's a few reasons that we do it in particular. And for businesses, depending on the structure of your business, your risk can be very different. So this is kind of a broad overall look at it. But basically why you need business insurance is to protect you from the risk of owning that business. Now if you own a business with lots of employees, you've got a lot of employees out there making nightmares for you, usually, right? But you also have the potential of them causing some damage to your business or to your property or to your name. Lots of different things can happen. So we're going to protect that risk with insurance. We're going to talk about personal liability. You know, lots of times we hear the old saying that I'm a corporation and therefore there's no liability.
Yeah.
You know what? Today's world you can sue anybody for anything. And when you start suing people, the attorneys, Dan's not here yet so I can say it, the attorneys go hire these private investigators and they start looking at what this person is. And as soon as they look at the company, they not only sue the company, they sue all the officers and everybody else involved. Many years ago my dad sold and rented cranes. And somebody over in Pocatello, Idaho, had rented a crane. They put a man up in the boom of this crane. They welded on a basket to the bucket and put this guy up there. and he was cleaning the end of a smokestack. Unfortunately, he reached out too far, fell about 120 feet, and is no longer with us. Well, when they decided to start suing people, his family, or the attorneys representing his family, I'm not sure his family would have done it, right? But his family decided that we're gonna pursue this. They sued everybody. They sued him right down to my dad, being the business owner. They sued him right down to the guy who had serviced the crane, and right up to the manufacturer of the crane. You know, the bottom line was they built the little bucket that went on it, and they were responsible for it. And the judge decided that, but didn't stop them from spending $20,000 or $30,000 back in the 80s to defend that lawsuit. It's expensive. So we want to protect ourselves from that, even though there's a corporate veil. And then there's always new risk. You know, one of the things that Sana just started talking about a little bit, but you know, if you were Target and you had your database hacked here recently, the last couple of years, maybe 3 or 4 times it happened. I read the article the other day in an insurance journal that they had about $150 million worth of insurance, and they're estimating that's going to be over $400 million worth of damages they have to pay out. Ouch. Where's that going to come from? We're going to be paying more for stuff at Target. We know that, right? So types of business policies, and you know, we hear lots of different names and lots of clues about things, but I just wanted to talk about the basics for just a few minutes. Property and casualty. So there's a bunch of risk that are involved with property and casualty. You know, fire theft, flood, earthquake, employee dishonesty, data and information theft. Those are all types of property or casualty insurance that your business may or may not have. They're all important. You know, when I come in to rent a building like this, my landlord says you're going to carry fire, you're going to carry some liability insurance in case you start the building on fire and cause damage to the other tenants, and you're also going to indemnify me against somebody that slips and falls out here coming to visit your business. That's liability insurance. We'll talk about that next. But property and casualty is probably the most common business insurance. If you have a building, you want to make sure it's insured. Don't want it to burn down and not have it there anymore. So almost everybody, all businesses have some sort of property and casualty insurance. Very common stuff. Liability insurance protects you against negligence. That's, you know, if I leave the mat out there, if I don't put ice melter on the sidewalk, somebody comes up and slips, falls, hurts themselves, and maybe they have a big accident and might split their head open. Not a good thing. End up in the hospital, the health insurance is going to take care of it probably, and then they're going to come after me as a business, the insurance company will, to get that money back. And they don't like spending that money. Can't blame them. So you got to have liability insurance.